To be here today. As a county, we appreciate this magnificent building that has come up in Nakuru, and also to note that it is the third after Naivasha and Molo. We are therefore very appreciative of this great work and hope that the good work that has started will be continued even after you have left this office. But as a county, your landmark within these three major courts will be seen for many years to come. And I must confess that as a county, you have heard that we are all set to become a city. And I think one of the critical services that a city has to offer is justice. And the fact that we have had crowded courtrooms in the past, inadequate, and therefore delaying justice or dispensation of justice, that would has been a hindrance, but now we believe it will be a thing of the past. So I want to congratulate you, and also to confirm we've gone round the building, and I wish to note that there's full compliance for persons with a disability. We have seen the ramps and the provision for a lift in days to come. And therefore, from our compliance perspective, we also consider that as an important landmark, because most of our public buildings, including even county buildings, lack that compliance to persons with a disability. And oftentimes when they are brought to our offices, they have to be carried up the stairs to be able to access government services. So I want to congratulate you for that particular inclusion in our programs. I wish to note that in recent years, Kenya has made significant improvements in the ease of doing business index. And as you all know, one of the critical factors in determining the ease of doing business is access to justice. If a company wants to set office in Kenya or any part of Kenya for that matter, and has a matter that requires to be dispensed in our courts and it takes many years, it simply means that that investment will be delayed for that period, and wealth creation and employment will equally be delayed for that. But in recent years, we have seen remarkable improvement, and part of that has come because of the changes that we have seen in the judiciary, the speed with which cases are being prosecuted, and also more importantly, a change of attitude that the best way to deal with cases is to take them all the way, as opposed to cases where files would disappear, where a matter would be heard for years on end, and where delay was one of the strategies that was used. So we really want to thank the judiciary for playing their part, and indeed also to confirm that a good judicial system is a critical enabler, both in business and work for the citizens in a county. It is also worth noting that the speed and transparency in our judicial system in prosecuting business cases remains a critical point. And I want to say this because there are many times when a project is maybe ongoing, or where land is set aside for one particular purpose, and because of disputes arising, we have to seek redress in the courts. And that has, in many occasions, been a cause of delay for major public infrastructures that later becomes a problem, even in terms of budget absorption. And as you know, once the year is over, sometimes you have challenges to do with the budgets. The Honorable Chief Justice, I also wish to note that during this pandemic, we have learned many things, including how to change our work, how to redefine what is normal, and I think also more importantly, how to continue working even when we are away from our workplaces. When the pandemic hit the country early in March, we were worried because our courts would become easy spreading points because of the nature of our courts, and also because different persons coming from across different areas would come, and a good mechanism of ensuring that there would be no cross-infection had not been constituted. But I want to thank the Nakuru Law Courts, because working with our public health department, they were able to institute proper measures that have ensured our courts are safe and that our judicial system continues to run. I am happy to note that although some of these innovations, including use of Zoom and other online platforms, has brought efficiency and also speedy conclusion of cases, it is also true that long after the pandemic is over, some of these will continue to be in use because of the efficiency that they have proved to the citizens. I also wish to note that in the process, we have realized that there's a major disparity in terms of access to internet connection, and this can be a major hindrance to access to justice. And as a county, working together with our partners, we shall be seeking to improve our connectivity, not just within our urban centers, but also across in the rural areas, so that a person will not be denied justice because of failure or an inability to access stable internet, as is the case. The County Government of Nakuru appreciates the critical role played by the judiciary in facilitating the entrenchment of a free and fair society, noting that in our society, there will always be a dispute between a brother and a sister, between the government and its citizens, between private parties, and therefore the least we can do is to ensure when these issues come up, they are readily addressed and in a speedy and efficient manner. The County Government of Nakuru is also conscious that we have very many cases that would also be well dispensed under the ADR approach. And therefore, we are also working on a program that would help us to train professionals on ADR so that cases that do not need to come to the courts would easily be dealt with, and therefore we can reduce the backlog that we continue to see in our courts. The Honorable Chief Justice, I wish also to note that the County Government of Nakuru, noting the good infrastructure that is coming here, I also wish to highlight one or two developments that are also around the town and will go a long way in complementing this magnificent building. Just a few meters from here, we have the Nyayo Gardens, which has often been the place when you come here and you're told to come in the afternoon, or when you have to wait for your case to come up. It's a place where members of the public have gone to rest, but over the years, it has become dilapidated and therefore less functional. Early in the year, I commissioned the refurbishment of Nyayo Gardens to ensure a modern green space that citizens would be able to enjoy the convenience of being near the courts and really being at the CBD, and also give them a place where you don't have to pay even if you want to be there for an hour or two and so on. And early next year, we plan to open it, and we shall also include Wi-Fi provision as part of increasing our connectivity. Secondly, allow me also to say Nakuru remains a critical player in the national commerce and business, and therefore we have noted with concern that every time you want to go to Nairobi, back in the days it took about 1.5 hours. Because of congestion and trucks and so on, it went to 2 hours. Every time I go to Nairobi now, I budget for about 3 hours to get to Nairobi. And when the distances remain the same but the time taken is long, it means that we are also becoming uncompetitive. And therefore, to that effect, I wish to confirm that the County Government of Nakuru, also working with the national government, there is a big plan to dual the entire road from Nairobi all the way up to Mau Summit. And in the dualing, in specific areas in Naivasha, Gilgil, Nakuru, We plan to have massive interchanges so that the bottlenecks that we often find at the roundabouts, including Gatehouse and the others, can be completely removed. So with this, we hope to reduce the travel time from nearly 3 hours to about 1 hour and 20 minutes expressway from here to Nairobi. And this simply means Nakuru can easily be a place where you go to work Nairobi and come back in the days to come. So this will also improve the competitiveness of Nakuru and also increase investment in this particular area. I also wish to comment on a matter that is also very dear to us, which has also been stated here. With respect to the judiciary, the independence of the judiciary is very important. It is clearly stated that our judiciary must be independent, but independence can only be attained when there's also financial independence. As long as the judiciary remains a beggar for funds, they can never attain the independence necessary for a well-functioning judiciary. And therefore, I think we need to also, as a nation, look at a funding mechanism that would help the courts and the judiciary at large to operate without having to put a case every year. And if we want to improve our business, if we want to improve our working environment, we must also realize that the judiciary is a key facilitator, and that can only happen when they exercise their independence and are able to get funding for programs such as this and others without having to bend any of the expectations. Lastly, Bwana CJ, I wish to note that this is one of your last functions before you retire. And I also note that symbolically, you have also put it in the place where it all began, where you practiced as a lawyer, the place where you visited every so often in the law courts to represent your clients. I want to assure you, as you come to retire, Nakuru is waiting for one of its great sons who has served the nation and made a mark. And as you come, we will regularly consult with you. We'll regularly engage you on matters that can help the county move forward. You may have retired as a CJ, but you have not retired as a citizen of this country. So we will seek your advice and counsel, and whenever necessary, please be part and parcel of this community. The member for Parliament has also raised a critical issue that I also would wish to comment. I have had opportunity to visit our prisons up there, and I remember in my first visit about 2 years ago, I saw very young men, very young, not one, not two, not three, and I also noted with concern that the nearly 20, 18, almost 18-year-olds that were there were too many. So I asked the officer who was taking us around, is it a robbery with violence kind of thing, or what is it? But I was also shocked to learn that most of them were there because of the sexual offenses bill that we passed. And I want to say that there may be need for us to review whether we are unfairly implementing a law without also looking at what is happening, because our boys under 18 are also juvenile, just like also the girls. And I felt that there are those who've been there for 5 years, others for 10 years, and in a way, there is work to be done. And I urge the Member of Parliament, with the support of the LSK here, to look for ways, because I don't think that is really acceptable. What I saw there, and even in my subsequent visits, I've also visited other prisons as a visitor, and I noted with great concern that the number of young men incarcerated on matters that probably even at the time when they committed, they were not in their true mature sense, would require a bit of review. And I think together we can be able to achieve the goal of protecting our girls in our society, while at the same time not sending our boys and our youth into years of incarceration. Thank you, and may God bless you all.